My wife is one of the world's leading hypnotists. So when the one that got away, her long-lost flame, killed someone in a hit and run, she didn't hesitate to get him off the hook. She turned her skills on me. Caleb can't go to prison, she'd whispered, her voice a soothing venom. Just forget this memory. You'll take his place. When you get out, I'll make it up to you. Our 5-year-old son, Leo, just nodded along. You're just a useless dad anyway. While you're in jail, Uncle Caleb can be my new dad. And just like they wanted, I forgot them. I forgot everything. But the moment I was free of them, my memory a blank slate. They started showing up my door day after day, begging me to just look at them again. My 11-month sentence ended. I walked out of the state penitentiary, and there she was waiting with our son. Let's go home, Jake. We came to get you, Melanie said. She nudged the little boy beside her. Leo, go help your father with his things. No. Leo, all of 5 years old, ducked behind her legs and stuck his tongue out of me. He's a jailbird. He's not my dad. My dad is Uncle Caleb. He tugged on her hand. Mom, isn't it Uncle Caleb's birthday today? Let's go celebrate with him. I don't want to be here with some con. The color drained from Melanie's face. She looked at me, her eyes darting nervously. Jake, he's just a kid. He doesn't know what he's saying. Don't take it to heart. I shook my head. I won't. He's just a little brat who clearly wasn't raised right. What? Melanie froze, staring at me in disbelief. Jake, how can you say that? This is Leo. Leo burst into tears, a theatrical wail. I don't want this jailbird for a dad. I want Uncle Caleb. Mom, let's go. We don't want him home. Make him go away. He cried, but his eyes were fixed on me when he saw nothing but a slight frown on my face. No reaction. His screams intensified. Melanie was completely flustered. Jake, what's wrong with you? You used to dote on him more than anyone. She was right. The person I supposedly cherished most was calling me a jailbird, rejecting me as his father. But then again, it was a blessing I couldn't remember them. How much would it hurt to have a knife twisted in your heart by the people you love most? I don't remember you, I said flatly. Melanie, let's get a divorce. We go our separate ways. That's the only right answer here. Melanie's body went rigid. A stiff forced smile twitched on her lips. Don't be ridiculous. We're not getting a divorce. You just had a shock, a temporary amnesia. You'll remember soon. Her voice became cloyingly confident. We're the people you love most in this world. Once you remember, you won't be able to let us go. Let's just go home for now. You need to rest. She took me to a large house in a gated community, a 3-story standalone place. I scanned it, feeling nothing. Not a flicker of recognition. If it weren't for the fact that some of my personal effects, things I instinctively knew were mine, were scattered around, I'd have thought I'd never set foot in here before. So, I really have amnesia. No wonder I can't recall the details of the hit and run. I walked through the house, tried to familiarize myself with the space, hoping to jog a memory. Anything. But as I pushed open the door to a cluttered attic, a figure that had been ghosting my steps suddenly lunged forward, shoving me hard from behind. I stumbled into a pile of junk. Boxes and old furniture came crashing down, burying me. The leg of a broken chair slammed against my head, and a hot, sharp pain made me break out in a cold sweat. I turned, looking back at the culprit standing in the doorway. You really are a spoiled little kid. Did your mother die and forget to teach you any manners? Leo's face, which had gone pale with shock, twisted into a scowl of disgust when he heard me insult his mother. It's your own fault for coming back today. It's Uncle Caleb's birthday. Me and Mom are going to celebrate with him. You're not going to ruin it. He backed away, and with a sharp click, the door slammed shut. I heard the distinct metallic scrape of a lock turning. A sense of dread washed over me. I scrambled to my feet, ignoring the pain, and ran to the door, pounding on it. But Leo just giggled from the other side and ran off. You're a bad man. You just stay in there and think about what you did. I kicked the door in fury. The attic was plunged into darkness. Almost immediately, a suffocating pressure settled in my chest. The enclosed space felt like it was filling with water, stealing the air from my lungs. I slid down the door, slumping to the floor. The world spun. A phantom hand seemed to be closing around my throat. Open the door. God damn it. Open the door. I hammered on the frame, but a wave of dizzying weakness washed over me. The lack of air filled my senses, and I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a hospital. The wound on my head was bandaged. I opened my eyes to see a thin girl standing by my bed. You're awake. Do you want some water? She asked. Her eyes were clear and bright as she leaned over me. The clothes she wore were faded from countless washes. When she noticed me staring, she immediately looked uncomfortable. A small smile touched my lips. "Did you save me?" "Thank you." The girl shook her head quickly, stammering, "No need. I was just delivering a package nearby and heard a noise from the attic. So, I called 911. She pointed toward the door. Sure enough, 2 police officers were standing just outside. I nodded, then looked back at her. "Either way, you're the one who found me. Thank you for saving my life." The girl's face flushed a deep red. She waved her hands dismissively and hurried out to get the officers. They came in, explained the situation, and left after I expressed my gratitude. It was then I learned that the girl who saved me was 8 years old. Her name was Lily. Her parents had died 2 years ago and she was supposed to go to a foster home, but she refused. She ran away and survived by doing odd jobs and running errands for people in the neighborhood. Over time, people had just gotten used to her, willing to pay her a few bucks to pick up groceries or packages. I was speechless. After a long moment, I looked at Lily again and asked, "Lily, would you want to come home with me? I'm not a bad person, and I don't have any children." Lily looked up at me, her expression tentative. "Really?" Of course, she nodded immediately. "I do. I really do." "Good. We'll go home after this." Once the 4 drip was finished, I took Lily back to the condo my parents had left me. It was a 3-bedroom, not huge, but warm and comfortable. Lily was a whirlwind of energy, helping me move things and clean the rooms without a single complaint. Nothing at all like that little monster, Leo. A wave of relief washed over me. I felt like Lily was the child I was always meant to have. After we finished tidying up, I went to the kitchen and made a big pot of spaghetti with a rich meat sauce. The aroma filled the apartment, and Lily's eyes lit up. She took a bowl and piled it high with pasta sauce, placing it in front of me. "You're hurt. You need to eat a lot to get better." Only then did she sit down and serve herself a small portion of plain noodles, eating in tiny, careful bites. I watched this stark separation of meat and plain, and couldn't help but gently ruffle her hair. "I need to get better, but so do you. You're still growing. You need to eat more." I scooped a large spoonful of the meat sauce in her bowl. Lily let me fuss with her hair, her face turning bright red as she nodded softly. "Okay, thank you, Dad." A week passed. I started the official adoption process for Lily and enrolled her in a local school. She was now officially Lily Evans. It felt like fate. That weekend, I planned to take her to the mall to buy some new clothes. Early in the morning, my phone started buzzing like it had come back from the dead. Melanie's name flashed on the screen, an unwelcome sight. I declined the call without a second thought. She immediately called back twice more. I ignored them both. Then came the chime of 2 text messages, both from her. "Where are you? You haven't been back to the house in a week. Where did you go?" Her business was none of my damn concern. I blocked her number a whole week and she was just now noticing I was gone. If Lily hadn't heard me in that attic, I'd probably be dead by now. I blocked all of Melanie's accounts and contacts, then took Lily shopping. We both bought several new outfits. As we were about to leave, Lily's gaze fell on a display in the front window, matching father-daughter outfits. "You want to try them on?" I asked. Lily nodded a little shyly. "All right, let's go." I changed quickly and was waiting for Lily outside the dressing room. And just my luck, that's when I ran into Melanie and her crew. Melanie saw me and froze. "Jake, what are you doing here?" I didn't answer, just looked away. A flicker of guilt crossed her face. "I know about what Leo did, locking you in the attic. I've already scolded him. I told him he needs to apologize to you." She pulled Leo forward. He mumbled, "Sorry," completely devoid of sincerity. I let out a short, harsh laugh. He almost left me to die in an attic for a week, and a simple sorry is supposed to fix it. Why not just wait until I'm dead and send your apologies with flowers to my grave? Melanie's face stiffened. She hadn't expected me to be so aggressive. Leo just hung his head, his face pale. Caleb, standing beside them, stepped in like some kind of peacemaker. He placed a hand on my shoulder. "Come on, Leo didn't mean it. Why are you making things so hard on a kid? If you want to blame someone, blame me. I was the one who asked them to go on a trip with me for a week after my birthday. That's why they didn't realize you were gone. How about this?" Caleb continued smoothly. "You just got out of prison. Let's throw you a welcome home party. A formal apology, you know, help wash away some of that bad luck." Melanie's expression brightened. "That's a great idea, Caleb. So thoughtful. Neither of them seemed to notice that as soon as they spoke, the surrounding store clerks and customers took an instinctive step back. Their eyes, when they looked at me, were filled with a mixture of fear and disgust. I sneered. So, they left me locked in an attic to run off and play with her side piece. I took a step back, letting Caleb's hand fall from my shoulder and brushed at my new shirt as if it were contaminated. What could possibly be worse luck than running into you two? I said, my voice low and clear. My wife and son tangled up with you. I locked eyes with him. If you want her so badly, tell her to divorce me. I'll gift wrap them both and send them your way. Instantly, Caleb's face turned to stone. He never imagined I'd be so blunt in public. The crowd, which had been looking at me with disdain, now turned their contempt on him. Oh, so he's the other man, shameless, hitting on someone's wife and kid. You know, before he said that, I actually thought the three of them were a family. And she's no better. Bringing her lover right in front of her husband. How trashy can you get? No wonder he said it was bad luck. If I were her husband, I'd be furious. Listening to the whispers and pointed fingers, Melanie's face became a mask of ugly emotions. Jake, what are you talking about? Caleb and I are just friends. How can you slander us like this in public? Caleb jumped in to explain. You got it all wrong. I was just worried they'd be lonely while you were away. I was just helping you look after them. I have no intention of taking them from you. You're shameless. A woman in the crowd spoke out sharply. The wife is screaming at her husband to protect her lover. And the lover is making up pathetic excuses. Are you even human? I used to think only cheating men were pathological liars, but I guess women are just as bad. Disgusting. Trash belongs with trash. Get lost before you ruin the air in here. Under the barrage of accusations, Melanie and Caleb looked increasingly cornered. Melanie's face was chalk white. She stared at me with wounded eyes, her hand finding its way to Caleb's arm for support. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. It was Leo who charged forward, his face red with anger. Don't you bully my mom and Uncle Caleb. You apologize to them. He swung a small fist at me. Before he could even touch me, a small shadow shot out and knocked him aside. Dad, are you okay? Lily, though just a small girl, stood in front of me like a mother bear protecting her cub. She eyed the group across from us with suspicion. I shook my head and stroked her hair. I'm fine, honey. Don't worry, Dad. Leo scrambled up from the floor, his face a picture of confusion. His eyes landed on the matching outfits we were wearing. His expression shifted from shock to raw pain. Suddenly, he lunged at Lily, scratching and hitting her. Who's your dad? What are you talking about? He's my dad. He started tearing at her new clothes. You're not allowed to wear matching clothes with him. Go away. Go away. Lily was already thin and frail, and as a girl, she was no match for Leo's frenzied attack. I stepped forward and lifted Leo away by the collar of his shirt. Your father's over there, I said, gesturing toward Caleb. Don't get confused. I pulled Lily into my arms, then looked at Melanie. Control your son. If he tries anything else, I'm calling the police. Melanie's face grew even darker. Jake, he's your son. Lily wrapped her arms tightly around my waist and shot them a defiant look. I'm Dad's kid. Leo, furious, tried to lunge again, but Melanie held him back. She looked at me, shaking her head in disappointment. Jake, when you get your memory back, you're going to regret this. Yeah, Jake. Caleb chimed in, pulling Leo into a hug to comfort him. Even if you're jealous that Melanie and Leo like me, you shouldn't just pick up some stray off the street and pretend she's your kid. Think about how much that hurts Leo. I looked at him coldly. Where's your father? What? He was caught off guard. I asked, where's your father? I want to go find him, slap him across the face and ask him how he raised his son to run around leading a child astray. No class at all. Caleb lunged at me, ready to throw a punch, but Melanie stopped him. She looked at me, her expression pained. Jake, how did you become like this? I had no time for her drama. I took Lily's hand and started to walk away. Just before leaving, I turned to the store manager. This woman is paying for our outfits. Her son ripped my daughter's clothes, so she owes us a replacement. My clothes are for emotional damages. Behind me, I heard Leo's choked screams. I don't need you if you don't remember me. I don't want you anymore. I smirked, not even bothering to turn around as I walked out of the store. Back at the apartment, Lily apologized, her voice thick with guilt. Dad, I'm sorry. I made my brother sad. Maybe you should go check on him. What does this have to do with you? I said, exasperated. He started it. What's wrong with protecting my own daughter? Besides, he's the one who said he didn't want me. He's not exactly lacking for attention. I gently turned her head. What about you? That's a long scratch on your neck. Doesn't it hurt? I got out the first aid kit to clean the wound. The tears she'd been holding back all this time finally started to fall. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered and it was Melanie using the housekeeper's phone. Her tone was demanding. Jake, Leo's sick. Okay. What does that mean? Aren't you worried? Aren't you coming to see him? I'm not a doctor. Is it going to magically get better if I look at him? Is there anything else? If not, I'm hanging up. I didn't wait for a reply. I just ended the call right away. I heard the sound of a child crying on the other end. But what did that have to do with me? Another week went by. That night, I made Lily my specialty, barbecue ribs. She was happily peeling the meat off the bone for me. Dad, these ribs are the best. You have to try this piece. She held a chunk of meat up to my mouth. As I leaned in to eat it, a memory suddenly flooded my mind. Leo, begging me to make a full rack of barbecue ribs, then turning around and presenting them to Caleb. Caleb, wrinkling his nose in disgust, telling him that wealthy people don't eat such greasy, cheap food. And Leo, without a moment's hesitation, dumping the ribs I had spent hours preparing straight into the trash. I paused, a dark look flashing in my eyes. Just then, the doorbell rang. I got up to answer it. Melanie was standing there, holding Leo by the hand. Leo was silent, peering cautiously into the apartment. Melanie, however, looked smugly confident. It's on, Jake. I'm sure you remember everything now, don't you? Leo and I are here to take you home. She's insane. I moved to slam the door in her face. Melanie's expression shifted instantly, a hint of panic in her eyes. She jammed her hand in the door frame. You haven't remembered? Her voice was laced with disbelief. Impossible. I calculated the timeline. It should be today. You can't possibly still not remember us. She stared into my eyes, searching for something. But when all she found was cold disgust, a real tangible fear finally began to creep into her heart. Jake, you're pretending, aren't you? She pleaded. You're just angry with Leo. That's why you won't acknowledge us. I didn't bother to answer. Leo took the opportunity to rush forward and hug my leg. Dad, I'm sorry. Please come home with us. I calmly pried him off. I'm not your dad. Your dad is Caleb. Don't you remember saying that yourself? In an instant, Leo's face went white as a sheet. Melanie stared at me gasping. Jake, you're destroying Leo too. She muttered to herself. What went wrong? What went wrong? Then, with renewed determination, you're coming home with me right now. I need to help you restore your memory. Let's go. We're going back now. She grabbed my arm, trying to pull me out the door. I wrenched my arm away. In the struggle, Lily ran over. Let go of my dad, she yelled and threw the saucy rib bone she was holding right at Melanie's head. Red barbecue sauce splattered across her hair and face. Forgetting the grease on her own hands, Lily balled her fists and started hitting Melanie. Only Leo wasn't paying attention to the fight. His gaze was fixed on the platter of ribs still on our dining table. His eyes instantly turned red. Those are my special barbecue ribs, he wailed, his voice cracking. How could you make them for someone else? He was utterly heartbroken, tears streaming down his face. I was unmoved. It's just a plate of ribs. I'll make them if I want to. Lily loves them, so I'll make them for her every day. How could you? Those are my favorite. Leo cried even harder. A surge of irritation went through me. I shook Melanie's hand off me for good. You know what? You're here just in time. Sign the divorce papers. We'll split the assets, house, and cars 50-50ths. You get custody of Leo, and I'll pay child support on time every month. I turned, went inside, and came back with a divorce agreement I'd already had drawn up. Melanie refused to take it. I'm not signing, she said. You just lost your memory. I will make you remember. Jake, just wait for me. She turned and fled, pulling a sobbing Leo with her. For the next few days, I didn't see them. Then, the day after I had the divorce papers couriered to her family's home, I came back from grocery shopping to find Melanie sitting in my living room. Get out. I didn't even spare her a glance. I made a mental note to change the locks first thing in the morning, but Melanie acted as if she hadn't heard me. Her eyes were fixed on me, strangely intense. Jake, I found a way to restore your memory. Her voice was a low, urgent whisper. All I need to do is perform the hypnosis one more time, and you'll definitely remember everything. She smiled, a chillingly confident expression, just like before. She trailed off, catching herself, but I'd heard enough. I narrowed my eyes. Melanie, are you trying to commit a crime? But she was insistent, ignoring my resistance. She was determined to hypnotize me again. Jake, you have to remember Leo and I have missed you so much these past few weeks. Come back to us. She pulled a small, polished pendulum from her bag. As it swung, my vision blurred, and I slumped onto the sofa, unconscious. It was like a dream, but the dream was an empty white void. I couldn't see anything. I simply lay down in the nothingness and slept. A voice called my name, pulling me back to consciousness. I opened my eyes to see Melanie's face hovering over mine. She was holding my hand, her eyes red-rimmed. Jake, do you remember now? She asked, her voice trembling with hope. I'm your wife. We've been in love for 10 years. Look, this is our wedding photo. She held a picture out to me. I pushed her hand away. My patience is gone. Melanie, if you don't leave right now, I'm calling the cops. With a clatter, the photo frame slipped from her fingers and hit the floor. You still don't remember, she whispered, horrified. How can that be? It's impossible. I performed the hypnosis myself. There couldn't have been a mistake, she mumbled to herself, lost in confusion. I don't believe it. I have to do it again. Some step must have gone wrong. She took out the pendulum again, preparing to start over. I had reached my limit. I slapped her hard across the face. Enough. Get out. She was a lunatic. After I threw her out, I immediately called a locksmith. I didn't get a chance to tell Lily, and when she came home from school, she found herself locked out. She was huddled by the door, hugging her backpack, her eyes as red as a rabbit's. She thought I'd abandoned her. The truth was, I'd just been out meeting a friend. I had been meeting with this particular friend every day for the past week, but I'd only taken my eye off her for a few days, and Lily came home covered in bruises. She was evasive, trying to hide her injuries from me. When I pressed her, she just said she got in an argument with some other kids and it turned into a fight. I looked at her with a gentle smile. Do you really think you're the type to get into fights? Lily finally hung her head. If I tell you, you have to promise not to get mad. It was that little tyrant, Leo. Seeing that I hadn't regained my memory and that I was picking Lily up from school every day had made him jealous. He was convinced that I refused to come home because I had Lily now. So, he paid some older kids to corner Lily on her way home from school to threaten her into leaving me. When Lily refused, they beat her up. So now he was bullying girls. The anger inside me burned hotter. I told Lily, honey, I know you're not a fighter, but when someone hurts you, you have to fight back. Do you understand? Your teeth, your nails, any part of your body can be a weapon. Next time this happens, whatever Leo does to you, you do it right back to him. Of course, I had no intention of letting there be a next time. I was planning to go settle the score with Melanie as soon as I finished patching Lily up, but to my surprise, they came to me first. Leo stood before Lily and offered a sincere apology. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have paid those kids to scare you away, and I shouldn't have let them hit you. Please come back home with us. He took a few steps closer, offering himself up. You can hit me back. Lily would never do that. Dad doesn't like kids who hit. I won't hit you. I want to be a good kid for my dad. Leo grew frantic. I'll be good, too. I didn't mean to hit you. It's just you took my dad. Lily tilted her head. But when I found Dad, he was all alone in a dark, messy attic. So, I found him all by myself. He's my dad. She paused, then added. And the doctor said, Dad has a really bad case of claustrophobia. Any longer in there, it could have been really dangerous. She looked from Leo to Melanie. What's claustrophobia? Do you guys know? Leo was speechless, desperate to defend himself. But when he thought about it, he realized she was right. He was the one who threw his dad away and Lily was the one who found him. He had lost his dad all by himself. Leo's eyes filled with tears and he looked like he was about to cry. Melanie, however, was staring at me, her eyelashes trembling. Jake, when did you get claustrophobia? How did I not know? I didn't have it before, I said calmly. It started after I got out of prison. Melanie flinched and a wave of regret washed over her face. She stepped forward. Jake, please come home with us. Leo and I will make it up to you. I promise. If Caleb bothers you, I'll make him leave. I'll never see him again. I'll find you the best doctors. We'll get your memory back and we could be a happy family again. Leo nodded eagerly. Yeah. From now on, you're my only dad. I almost laughed. Do they have any self-awareness at all? I pulled Lily closer. I don't need to. I already have a family. Besides, are you people really worth remembering? Leo started crying again, but this time he bit his lip, trying to silence the sobs. The standoff was broken by a figure bursting through the front door. Melanie, you have to help me. Caleb rushed toward her, his face a mask of panic. The police came to see me. They said they suspect me in a fatal hit and run from 11 months ago. Melanie's face went pale. She glanced at me, and only when she saw my blank expression did she seem to relax slightly. She pushed Caleb away, her voice no longer gentle. Just cooperate with the investigation. There's nothing I can do to help you. Caleb stared at her in disbelief. Melanie, you're not going to help me anymore. She looked away. We're just friends. I've already done more than enough for you. I have a husband and a child. I have my own life to live. Melanie, how can you just abandon me? Caleb was so frantic. He had blisters on his lips. His eyes were bloodshot. When he realized Melanie truly wouldn't help him, he shot a hateful glare in my direction before storming out. Melanie didn't seem fazed at all. She just looked back at me. Jake, you see, I won't help him anymore. So, can you please? No. I cut her off. It's getting late. You should go home. The light in Melanie's eyes died. She took Leo's hand and left, looking back every few steps. Every morning after that, I found an apology letter and a gift on my doorstep. And without exception, they all went straight into the trash. Melanie would stand across the street watching me with red-rimmed eyes. But soon, she had bigger problems. Caleb was officially a fugitive, wanted for vehicular manslaughter. He didn't stay on the run for long before the police caught him. The next time I came out of the police station, Melanie was there blocking my path. It had only been a few days, but she looked exhausted. Her hair was a mess, and the dress that was always so impeccable was wrinkled and stained. Despite her appearance, her gaze was locked on my face, sharp and intense. Jake, she said, her voice raspy. You remember everything, don't you? Remember what? I asked, my voice even. The quiet calm seemed to devastate her. Her fingers twitched. After a long moment, she spoke, her voice shaky. You remembered that Caleb was the one who hit that person. That's why you came to the station to testify against him. I didn't deny it. Her eyes lit up. And what about me? Did you remember me, too? Her face was filled with desperate hope. Yes, I said. I remember. Melanie was overcome with joy. But before her smile could fully form, I threw a bucket of ice water on it. I remember you using your skills as a hypnotist to manipulate me, to alter my memories. So I take the fall for Caleb. And I remember that it was your fault I developed severe claustrophobia so bad I can't even ride an elevator anymore. With every word I spoke, the color drained further from her face. She looked at me, her expression begging. Stop. Jake, I'm begging you. Please stop. Her voice broke. It was my fault. I'll make it up to you. I swear I will. Make it up to me with what? She didn't want me to speak, so I was going to say it all. A cruel, vengeful smile spread across my face. You cost me a kidney. You're the reason I can never have another child. What could you possibly have that would make up for that? Suddenly, Melanie's eyes went wide. Her entire body froze. What do you mean you're missing a kidney? What do you mean you can't have children? I threw a medical report at her. She caught it, her hands trembling as she opened it. As her eyes scanned the clinical text, they filled with tears. Patient sustained stab wound to the torso resulting in severe kidney damage. In shock for 10 minutes, reproductive organs damaged by poison. She read aloud, her voice barely a whisper. Why? Why didn't I know? She looked up, tears streaming down her face. Jake, I didn't know. I had no idea this would happen to you in prison. Seeing her pathetic regret, I just curled my lip in a sneer. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew the family of the person Caleb killed was powerful. That's why you sent me in your place. The victim's family paid the guards to make my life a living hell. They never intended for me to walk out of that prison alive. Melanie was shaking uncontrollably, tears dropping from her chin to the pavement. She reached for me, pleading, I'm so sorry, Jake. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Can't you? Please, we can start over. Do you really think that's possible? I sidestepped her touch. You destroyed my life. Do you really think I could ever forgive you? What about Leo? If not me, what about Leo? Are you abandoning him, too? Yes, I said, my voice laced with scorn. He said he wanted Caleb to be his father. I'm just giving him what he wants. And you never once corrected him, did you? Which means you approved. At those words, the last bit of hope drained from Melanie's face, leaving it utterly desolate. Of course, I wouldn't forgive her. It wasn't that simple. I could still remember lying in the prison infirmary, hovering between life and death. The corrections officer assigned to me called Melanie. When he identified himself, her only response was an impatient sigh, telling him to make sure I reformed properly. And in the background, I could hear Leo cheering, celebrating Caleb's new freedom. I had done nothing wrong, but because I had loved Melanie, I was subjected to a catastrophe that wasn't mine. The woman I had spent 10 years of my life with, upon learning her old flame had killed someone, conspired to drug me, hypnotize me, and send me to prison in his place. So why in the hell should I forgive her? I turned to leave. As I did, I saw Leo standing right behind me, his face streaked with tears. As I walked past him, I heard him whisper, "I'm sorry." I took a deep breath and kept walking, not responding. My last words to Melanie were, "If you want the real truth, go ask the police for the security footage. That's all I have to say to you." And she did. She went to see the surveillance tapes. Only then did she understand why I was also at the scene of the accident that day. It was the very reason they were able to frame me so easily. Caleb had driven there specifically to find me. He came to gloat, to tell me my wife still had feelings for him, that my own son wanted him as a father. He mocked me for being unable to hold on to my own family. I snapped. I threw him to the ground and beat him, which only filled him with a murderous rage. He got back in his car and tried to run me down, shouting that even if he killed me, Melanie and Leo wouldn't care. He was laughing like a maniac. I scrambled to get away, dodging left and right. At the last second, he floored the accelerator and aimed straight for me. I dove out of the way and his car plowed into a pedestrian who happened to be walking past. If only she had bothered to look when she helped him destroy the evidence. If she had taken one single glance at the footage, she would have known the whole truth. But she was so determined to protect an attempted murderer that she chose to be blind, especially after she found out how powerful the victim's family was. Watching the footage, Melanie trembled from head to toe, her eyes filled with a bottomless pit of regret. Leo was crying uncontrollably. No wonder Dad won't forgive me. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry, Dad. Suddenly, Melanie, who had been lost in her grief, launched herself at the handcuffed Caleb. She slapped him across the face and started kicking him ferociously. "You tried to kill Jake. You vicious bastard. Why would you do that? Wasn't I good enough to you? Why? You ruined my family. Why don't you just die?" She was relentless. Within moments, Caleb was doubled over, clutching his groin in agony, his body twitching on the floor. The police officers quickly pulled them apart. Melanie's eyes were wild, teetering on the edge of a complete breakdown. Caleb dropped the act. "Melanie, have you no shame?" He spat. "You loved having two men fighting over you. You're a sick, twisted woman, and now you have the nerve to blame me. This is your own damn fault. You're the one who let him take the fall for me. If anyone should die, it's you. Maybe if you were dead, he'd finally forgive you." All the strength drained out of Melanie. She collapsed onto the floor. "Yes, you're right. I should die. We both should." She closed her eyes, stroked Leo's head one last time, and asked the officers to take him home. Then she looked up. "Officer," she said, her voice hollow, "I want to confess. I wasn't surprised to learn that both Caleb and Melanie were sentenced to prison. My lawyer said he was shocked at how smoothly everything went. He thought clearing my name would be an uphill battle, especially since I had confessed at the time. But once Melanie confessed, she admitted to the illegal use of hypnosis. Just like that, the crime was no longer mine. I was a victim. The truth was, the first time Melanie had mentioned the word hypnosis after I got out, my suspicions were raised. That's why I was out of the house so often. The friend I was meeting was a lawyer and a hypnosis expert. On the day my memories fully returned, I went with my lawyer to petition for a retrial. Now, finally, the truth was out. Melanie and I were officially divorced. She signed the papers willingly, leaving me with all our assets. In an attempt to minimize the impact on Leo, she begged me to take legal custody of him, transferring him to my name. Leo now lives with his grandparents back in the big house. I live with Lily in my condo. We don't interfere with each other's lives. It's better this way. The only thing was, in my rush to gather evidence, I'd neglected Lily. She started coming home late from school every day. When I went to the school to find her, she was never there. She would only sneak back in long after I'd gone to bed. I threatened to ground her and she would apologize profusely, only to do the same thing the next day. On Friday, I was about to head out to pick her up myself. As I opened the door, I saw her running toward me, backpack bouncing, holding a gift box. "Dad, this is for you," she said, her face beaming with pride. "I hope you'll always be happy and live a long, long life." I opened the box. Inside was a watch. It must have cost over $100. "Where did you get the money for this?" Lily was an elementary school student. She couldn't have saved this much from her allowance. She scratched her head, embarrassed. "I earned it washing dishes for a restaurant owner. He paid me $20 a day. I want to buy you a really expensive one, but I'm too little, so they don't pay me much. Dad, when I grow up, I promise I'll buy you the most expensive watch in the world." She had washed dishes for half a month just to buy me a simple off-brand watch. My heart ached with a mix of anger and love. I was angry that a little girl was working late every night, making me worried. And I was heartbroken thinking of her toiling away just to buy me a gift. But more than anything, I was moved. My heart felt like it was melting. I pulled her into a tight hug. "Thank you, sweetie. I love it." Lily blushed, smiling shyly into my chest. After a moment, she seemed to remember something and pointed outside. "All right, Dad. Leo followed me here." She shrugged, a little exasperated. I looked up and saw a small figure trailing behind her. Leo was holding a large bouquet of sunflowers, a symbol of new beginnings. He stood by the door, not daring to come in, just staring at the floor and picking at his fingers. When he saw me looking, he nervously shuffled forward and held the flowers out to me. He whispered, "Dad, I'm sorry." I was stunned for a second, then reached out and took the bouquet. "Thank you." Seeing me accept the flowers, the tension on his face finally broke into a small, fragile smile. He turned to run away. "Aren't you going to stay for dinner?" Leo's body froze. He stopped so abruptly he nearly fell over. When he turned back to look at me, his eyes were red. He nodded his head frantically, choking back a sob. Yes, I want to stay for dinner." I smiled and told Lily to bring him inside. During dinner, I got a call from the prison. It was a guard telling me that Melanie was sick and wanted to see me. I refused without hesitation. "You don't need to call me again. I have nothing to do with her."